Action. Eli Erskovich with Tom Bostwick in the studios, as always. And again, we're going to have Andy Garcia on in just a couple seconds. You're talking some NIU football. And Tom, what were your thoughts on the Jordan Lynch performance this season? Of course, a terrific performance in his last year in NIU and going to the draft.
I was a huge Jordan Lynch fan. My thing was obviously Jameis Winston was worthy
Jameis Heisman, yes.
Yeah, crowning him already. But I thought, maybe in a couple other years, Jordan Lynch wins that thing because 2,000 yards passing, 2,000 yards rushing, or did he 20 touchdowns passing, 20 touchdowns rushing, almost 2,000 yards rushing, I think.
Right.
Yeah. He was unbelievable, and every week he had to line up against teams. Granted, it was the MAC, but every week he had to line up against teams stopping. It was one goal: stop Jordan Lynch, and every week he proved him wrong. Obviously, they tumbled late in that MAC championship game against Bowling Green, I think it was, and he didn't have the greatest game. But 2 back-to-back unbelievable years. I think he's just a competitor, a tough guy. You watch him run the ball; he runs it like a 6'3" Jerome Bettis in his prime. He just runs people over. It's great. So I'm excited to see what happens with him on the next level.
I love the comparisons, Tom. The 6'3" Jerome Bettis up against your Seahawks too in the Super Bowl. I'm surprised you made that comparison. But
I was just thinking tough runners.
Exactly. Let's bring in Andy Garcia again, the sideline report of NIU football. He also does play-by-play for their women's basketball team. Andy, can I ask you, is the women's basketball team of NIU worth any comparison of DePaul women's basketball?
First of all, guys, it's good to be with you again. I don't think so. We've had a down season a little bit. I think we were expecting a little bit more, but we're going to try to go into the conference tournament, maybe about an 8 or a 9 seed, and see if we can wreak some havoc. But we've played DePaul in the past. DePaul's had our number a little bit, so we're not at that level yet. We're trying to get there.
All right, I like the hope and I like the confidence.
Oh, yeah.
But, Andy, let's dive into some NIU football. And their coach, Rod Carey, was extended through the middle of 2019. So, again, what were your thoughts on extending Rod Carey? And, of course, a great back-to-back seasons. We talked about it heading to the bowl game when I had you on last, and what a performance that was. So what were your thoughts on extending the coach that you have a great relationship with?
Yeah, I don't think it was any surprise, guys. I think that they're looking for commitment. When you're at a mid-major like NIU, and you've seen head coaches come through like Jerry Kill, who went to Minnesota, and you see Dave Dorn, who left for NC State. I think NIU, as a mid-major, was looking for a little bit of stability, looking for a coach that wants to stay around and continue what they've done with this program and compete for MAC championships, compete for what was the BCS for a couple years there. And the team is supposed to be good again, and the heads of NIU, including Sean Frazier, the athletic director, thought that Coach Carey's the right guy, and I think he is the right guy, and he's got the right demeanor for this team, and they like playing for him. They like to go out there and put on their best effort for him, and I think the fans are just as excited to have Coach Carey around till at least 2019, or you hope that he's there until then, because I think the future remains bright for the NIU program.
Oh, absolutely. Obviously with the mid-majors in football is a lot very similar to the mid-majors in basketball. Coaches tend to use those as stepping stones,
Sure.
but you'd love to see obviously some more consistency, or coaches stick around a little because they can build successful programs. And NIU's got a great start here, but obviously talking about the departure of Jordan Lynch, who was just unbelievable there. He wants to play quarterback at the next level, and as he should, because he was unbelievable at the collegiate level. He said he's talked to about 10 teams. What do you see? Do you see with Russell Wilson, his success, and some of these zone read quarterbacks? Do you see Jordan Lynch getting a chance, or is he going to have to get his foot in the door some other way and then convince a team once he's already on it to play quarterback?
In my opinion, guys, there's so many teams in the league, but you only need one to love you. You know what I mean? You only need one of those teams, one of those scouts to see you, and they've been out all the last 2 years, guys. I mean, at practice, there have been scouts from at least every team that we've been out there with, and they've talked to. I mean, the teams know about him. It's going to now take, he's been around. You saw him in the East-West Shrine game. He was at the Combine. He did his thing there. And now he has to impress in Pro Day, which is tomorrow, guys. The NIU Pro Day is out tomorrow. I mean, he just has to go out there and do what we've seen him do and just keep at a high level and perform at what he can do, it just takes one team. Do I think he's going to get drafted? I do think he's going to get drafted. Is it going to be later? I do think it's going to be later because he's committed to playing quarterback. And you guys brought up Russell Wilson and some of those smaller quarterbacks with that zone read. Like you said, he'll just go over somebody. His dedication, his heart, you saw it on national TV, guys. He wants to win. It doesn't matter what's in his way, what obstacles. Yes, did they kind of fall at the end of the season a couple times? They did. But Jordan Lynch, you know you're going to get 100%, and you know he's going to go out there and do what he can for the team. And, again, it only takes one NFL team to fall in love with you, and you get a chance, and I do think that's going to happen.
I'm going to compare him to a running back of the Seattle Seahawks, and that's Marshawn Lynch. So that's for Tom right there. But again, now talking about the Chicago Bears, we had Joe Ostrowski on last week, and I know you've been on his show.
Oh, JoJo, of course.
Of course. And again, now talking about the Bears, and Jordan Lynch is at the Combine. He talked to the Bears. Do you think the Bears would potentially be interested in Jordan Lynch? Maybe not as a quarterback, but to have him to maybe play some in the backfield, maybe play a little running back potentially and switch the position up?
I'm not against it. I do think they'd be looking to get somebody, maybe a backup. Maybe they could play some different positions. They would be one that I would bring up. That you've got Jay Cutler, you've got your main quarterback. You don't know what's going to happen with the backup in Chicago. We don't know what's going to happen there. But I don't think it's a bad opportunity. They're going to be out there tomorrow, and I do think Chicago is one of those teams. I mean, it's tough to pick out a particular team because of all the needs from each team. But I would think Chicago would be right there, a team that's watched them play, a local kid from the South Side. I think that's definitely a possibility. And like you guys said, he's been told. I mean, he's gone to these guys, these teams and these scouts, and they've talked to him about, hey, there may be an opportunity at safety. You may be a wide receiver. He's been committed to being the quarterback. If that changes, if a team's interested in him, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, his time was a 4.69 at the Combines. I mean, it's not bad. It's in the middle of pecking. That's not Jadeveon Clowney or anything like that. But it's a good speed for a quarterback, and there's opportunities out there for him, and I think he'd be open to them.
Then you talk about the injuries with the Chicago Bears and Jay Cutler. So, again, if the Bears decided to draft Jordan Lynch and keep him as a quarterback and maybe McCown goes somewhere else potentially to start. So if you're the Bears and you've seen Jordan Lynch for the past couple seasons, would you trust Lynch to be a backup and potentially start this season if Jay Cutler goes down?
I would trust him. He'd have to learn the system a little bit different system where it's a drop back and you're trying to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker that the Bears try to do now. I think he could learn it. I think he could be a good backup. I do think he'd have to come in and learn that program, guys. I don't think that's something he hasn't been the three-step or the drop back and get it out of his hands. He's been one to step back and either run it or, like you guys know, run that option read that he runs. He can throw the ball. Don't get me wrong. He's got the arm speed, and he's got the strength to throw the ball around the field. I just think he'd have to get used to a different program and not a better head coach in the NFL to work from with the Bears either.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I think he's definitely capable, and you're right, though. He'd have to take his time, and Trestman would have to work with him. But I think he could add a dimension to Trestman's already, super dimensional offense. Having that more mobile quarterback. I mean, Cutler can move a little, but I mean, if Jordan Lynch gets back there, for a couple games, if say the Bears were to draft him as backup quarterback, I think you could see some magician skills back there. But getting back to NIU football for next year, you mentioned the team's supposed to be pretty good, and obviously with these two past very successful years with the run of the BCS and then falling just short this past season. How's the recruiting class looking? This year, is it are they going to be able to repeat the success of the past two seasons? You think?
I think this year's recruiting class, guys, has kind of been the success from the Orange Bowl. Meaning, NIU went to the Orange Bowl last season, and they got some recruits from that just a little bit because it was late. You get in there, you're playing on January 1st. I think this recruiting year has helped that BCS in the Orange Bowl. They've gotten kids again out of Florida. They've gotten some talent around. They've stayed in the Wisconsin and the Illinois areas where they've been having good success, but they've been able to kind of spread it out to their roots down south where they've gotten some recruits in the past. I think that's where they've seen some of the fruit of their success kind of come through, guys, because of going into the national exposure, playing in a BCS, and kind of looking at the recruits they come in, a little bit taller guys, a little bit faster guys, and we've seen that now with a couple recruiting classes from NIU, wanting to use that speed, especially on the defensive side, and I think you're going to see that this year's class was helped from the Orange Bowl a year ago.
That's a great point, Andy. And again, talking about Rod Carey, going back to what we opened up with, I think having, as you mentioned, 2 successful seasons under the coach, and then obviously what Rod Carey can do recruiting-wise, that obviously helps as well. But I'm 0 for 2 in this category with guests this season, but I might as well ask you, try to make it third time's the charm. Can you give me a play-by-play call one last time of a Jordan Lynch touchdown?
One last call. Oh goodness! They got the one. I'm not. Now I got to tell you, I'm the sidelines guy for NIU. Bill Baker's been there 34 years, so I do the sidelines and I do play-by-play for women's basketball. So Bill Baker's got the calls, man. He's been there. He's got some good ones, but I won't do that, Eli. I can't do that to take his job. But I will tell you that Jordan Lynch has bowled over people that I thought, he's going to get rocked back, and he's taken this guy and put him on his back. And I'm really interested to see what happens with Jordan Lynch in the NFL. And I know we have to wait a little bit longer this year with the draft being in May, but I really do hope he gets picked up. And not that even if he doesn't get drafted, guys, somebody's going to take a chance on him. Why not? I mean, when you get to the 6 or 7 rounds, again, it's not a Tom Brady pick. I mean, I'm not going to make it like a similarity to a Tom Brady, but the guy's got heart, man. He's dedicated. He's successful. He wants to work to improve, and I hope he gets a chance with the team, man. It'd be great.
It would be terrific, not only for yourself who's seen him play, but for us who've watched him on TV. Yeah. Andy, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to be back on soon.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you again. Again, that's Andy Garcia, the sideline reporter of NIU football, as well as some play-by-play. And Westwood won. So he was at the Super Bowl, Tom, for your Seattle Seahawks, taking down the Broncos.
Yeah, he got to witness some bowling over there. Cam
some
Chancellor,
beast mode.
Yeah, and some Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, that was a great talk. Obviously, Jordan Lynch. He mentioned he's got heart. We talked about that a couple times during the season. My only concern is how much is that whole Tebow experience gonna hurt him. But I think that Lynch will not carry the media circus that Tebow obviously carried. So that I think is going to help him more than the Tebow thing will hurt him.
And again, Marshawn Lynch did carry a lot of circus in the Super Bowl, but hopefully Jordan Lynch stays composed. And we saw him on, I don't know if you saw this on CBS Sports during the Heisman presentation. I think the Saturday before, during a couple football games. Maybe it was during Auburn, Alabama, or the weekend after, maybe during Army-Navy. You were at the Army-Navy game, so maybe it was while you were at the game. Jordan Lynch was talking, and they had all the Heisman candidates there, and he seemed very composed, a very calm, cool, and collective quarterback. And I think if he hopefully he does, like Andy said, he makes it in the NFL. If he can, and if he gets on the roster as a quarterback, like maybe the Bears take him to do so, I think he's got a shot.
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to find a quote he had. It was something along. I mean, he was 24-4 as a starting quarterback, and it was something along the lines of like, "You don't go 24-4 without me at quarterback." And I think that speaks volumes right there.
That's a great point, Tom. When we come back, we're going to continue on and switch over from the NIU standpoint of things, and we're going to switch over to some Bears. So maybe who the Bears are going to take, or who they won't continue on having on their team. One being Devin Hester, the kickoff returner. He's out of the Chicago Bears locker room for next season. We're going to talk about that and much more for free agent possibilities next here on the lineup on Radio DePaul, Chicago's College Connection.